Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. My first Masters race. That's right. I'm actually 34. I'm 34, race age 35, doing my very first Masters event here at the Livermore Criterium. And what am I doing lining up with the 35 plus guys? Well, first of all, the P12 race is later in the day, so 2 races in one day. That's pretty cool. But also, I'm getting ready for nationals. That is right. I am doing 35 plus nationals next week, so that's happening soon. I wanted to at least do one Masters race before I just dive into nationals. And who's out here? So a bunch of teams I don't know. We have Pete's Coffee. I know a lot of those guys, actually. Cliff Bar, Cognition, Penn Velo, San Jose. And then there's 3 of us on Team Mike's Bikes. And before this race, I was telling my teammates, I think I'm going to save some energy, make sure I have good legs for the P12 race, which is 2 hours after this race. And I won't spoil it, but for those of you who follow me on Strava, you probably already know the result. So in this Masters race, I just wanted to save my legs. Look at the wind. It was hot. It was windy. I just wanted to kind of wait, save my energy for a field sprint. But immediately we are like 30 seconds into this race, and I'm spiking up to like 1,100 watts. Because, guys, I just can't control myself. Like, if I'm coming out to a race, I am coming to win. And when I see Super Dave, who you guys will know from Alviso, yes, those are real stars and stripes. He is a national champion on the track. When I see him roll off the front and everyone's just kind of looking at each other, like, I got to join that. This could be a good one. And in fact, once this Cognition rider bridged across and the 3 of us were like immediately rotating turns, I was like, that might be it. This might be one of those rare first lap attacks that stays away. But unfortunately, it was not meant to be, and we are caught. So about 10 minutes later into this race, which is only a 40-minute race, by the way. I've forgotten how short some of these Masters races are. We're approaching our first preem lap, and I'm positioned really well, so I want to snipe this preem. And I see Dave go on the left. He goes for an early one. I get a little benefit of draft here on the right, because remember that strong crosswind. But man, Dave took off like a rocket. So I need to do some extra power here to get back into his draft. As we're catching these last 2 riders, it is time to snipe this preem from Dave. Sorry, Dave, but this is just looking too nice right here. And I'm going to take this last corner first. Remember this last corner, right? This is coming into a tailwind, only about 100 meters to the finish from here. You're going to see me checking back here, checking back, because I don't want to use any unnecessary energy. Got the preem, and now I'm going to look back, and we have a big gap. So there I am checking one more time. And I'm just going to keep the pace high. So you're going to see me stay here at about 350, 400 watts. And kind of this is me saying, hey, sorry for stealing that preem from you, Dave, but now I'm just going to take an extra long pull in return. And we're going to see what we can do with this gap that we've established, because, we're not off the front for no reason. If we're up here, we may as well just continue rolling with it and see where it takes us. Well, we almost immediately open up about 30 seconds, and Dave is just the best brake mate because he is a diesel. And he's also an enormous draft. So we just continue rotating turns. And one thing about the preem. So by the way, preem is a prize lap. They call them in the middle of races. There's an etiquette involved. When you're in a breakaway, it doesn't make sense, especially if it's only 2 people, to be like racing each other for those preems. So I took the first one. I gave Dave the second one. And then Dave gave me the third one. And we just rotated because you can almost think of yourself as teammates with your brake mates. This early in the race, you both have a common interest of staying away from the field, maximizing your speed. So then the question becomes, when do you flip that switch? And when do you go back to being competitors? And a lot of it comes down to the style of rider that you're with. So Dave knows I'm a sprinter. Pretty much everybody knows I'm a sprinter. I make YouTube videos about it. And I know that Dave wants to go for a long one. So I am always keeping a little bit in reserve, and Dave probably is thinking, I don't want to take Jeff to 200 meters. So as we're getting into like the final couple of laps, Dave starts taking these half pulls, and the field is also closing in on us. Our gap went from 30 seconds down to about 15 seconds with about a lap and a half to go. So as Dave's wrapping up his pull and we're approaching this final corner, coming into the tailwind, remember, that's an important detail, with 1 lap to go, I am going to be damned if I'm getting caught on the last lap of my first Masters race. So in this tailwind, with 1 lap to go, I just give it a rip. It's one of these situations where it's like the best defense is a good offense sort of thing. So I know this is the move that Dave wants to do, and I don't want to allow Dave to play his game. So I get on top of it in the tailwind, and when I look back, Dave is letting this gap open up. Now, this isn't the normal Dave. If you guys noticed his jersey, he is the state champion in the Masters category, and admittedly, he is out of fitness. So good news for me, I'm able to put my head down and just stay consistent, because that initial surge in speed was just an acceleration to get a gap on Dave, and now I am just smoothing out that effort into a hard but sustainable effort that I can carry all the way to the finish, because that's the fastest way to get to the finish at this point. And it was a success. Guys, I'm 1 for 1 in Masters races. I'm posting up in my desk chair right now. Super stoked on it. And also happy to see that Dave was able to roll in for second also. He also stayed away from the charging field. And my 2 teammates went first and second in the field sprint. So it was a fantastic day overall. It was cool to finally be able to race with Dave after years of not racing with Dave. So thanks for watching, guys. And hang in there. I have part 2 from this day, the P12 race coming up. Click subscribe so you don't miss it, and I'll talk to you guys soon.